Hello, it's a great pleasure to welcome you to this edition of the Political Rumbles here in Corway TV. I remain the host anchor Chigoze Ndibo. Yes, on a quick note, we're to address the fundamental issues, of course, bordering on our existence as a people. And the most controversial statement surrounding the position of the Senate President of the 10th Assembly of the most recent as they proceed on recess, the Senate President made submissions that some tokens have been sent to their various accounts of the members of the Hamlet Chamber. And of this generated some controversy among them, which led to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, of course, withdrawing his statement or trying to reframe that particular statement, possibly to appease those who feel dissatisfied by that pronouncement, or possibly being that it is before the public domain. Well, that notwithstanding, I think it is very important to understand that, well, I'm speaking from the perspective of the office of the Honorable Office of the People's Parliament. The impulse of the people have been felt, and reactions across the Nigerian states, and people are saying, why should an honorable Senate president withdraw a statement that is very categorically true? Well, no matter how it's been reframed or withdrawn, it does not deny that the reality on ground that there has been some, of course, juicy handshake across board, but that, of course, is not out of place. But I want to remind the honorable members of the state assemblies to understand that there is a fundamental issue or nagging issue of national concern is about the survival of an average Nigerian. Nigerians are suffering on the streets of course, of the states of this country. When you sample opinions, they are not happy. Well, and the seniors are proceeding on recess without any recourse to the plight or the pains of Nigerians. I don't mean that you have not discussed such, but the commitment and decisiveness is what matters. As you proceed, of course, according to Akpabio, you will listen to that statement that they, in order to enjoy themselves in the course of the recess, that some token have been sent to their various accounts. Now, you understood, of course, you have done well for yourselves. And what about Nigerians who you represent, who you claim to preside over their affairs and decision making? What provisions have been made for Nigerians, as most of Nigerians are clamoring, begging for even the purported 8,000 to get to them, which unfortunately, with the economic mishaps, inflation, of course, could not come by, would not, it's not sustainable. But then, what are the plans you have for Nigerians as the honorable member or president of the 10th Assembly, Godswill Akpabio? Yet it is God's will that Nigerians will get out of this wood. It is God's will for the downtrodden, those impoverished by government anti-policies and government, not just this government, by misgovernance within the Nigerian political space, should get justice to be taken care of, and that is the true religion. I hope while they proceed on recess, they should also understand that Nigerians are already plunging into economic recession, and such should be the primary concern of the 10th Senate Assembly. Yes, much job is left to be done. Is it actually the time to proceed on recess when there are nagging issues of great concern, of which needed to be addressed drastically in order to save the Nigerian populace? Nigerians are hungry. I expected by now they should have moved the motion to open the southern border so that foods can come in. So that an average Nigerian, the poor masses of this country, not just because they desire to be poor, but because of the economic states of the nation, and most of them have lost their jobs, considering the latest, of course, withdrawal from business of the GSK, and other multinationals are leaving the shores of Nigerians. And these are fundamental issues that should have been looked into before, of course, proceeding on recess. And don't understand why the government are not paying attention to those particular issues of great concern that is of the interests of the national of the citizenry, office of the citizenry. Before proceeding, I'm not saying that it is not your right based on, of course, your mode of oppression or engagement. But the reality is that while you are away enjoying yourself with a token, what are Nigerians left with? That is fundamental issues. And as I'm concerned, the representative of the office of the People's Parliament, we have not seen anything. I mean, the masses are complaining and they are not happy with the development. And how long should they continue to wait for the purported palliative to be dispersed? And what is the credibility and transparency in dispersing this particular, of course, palliative? What is the assurance that this will not end up in the same hands? This is quite unfortunate, but then my attention is to address the fundamental issues bordering on the existence of the people. People are so depressed, desperate for survival. Some families, as I walk on the streets of Lagos yesterday, I saw a woman and her daughter, a very tender daughter at the age between the age of 2 and 3. I mean, so haggard, looking for, I mean, at the mercy of the passerbys and possibly what, I mean, for survival. I walked past and the woman asked for arms, and I have to come back, not just because I'm buoyant, but out of the little that is left, because of the passion, the pains of that young girl. I have to relinquish the little I have. But how long, how far could that sustain them? It cannot take care of the mother and the child, possibly for just the child. Then what happens to the mother? How will they continue to live at the mercy of whatever happens to them? Are there not programs rolled out where the government can create bookers where people can access foods, even though without meat? Because the economy is biting hard. For the honorable senators to go home with something that will make them happy, and of course, to cushion the effects of these economic mishaps, what about the Nigerians that are left with nothing for survival? Well, this question, I hope it will get to the honorable members and to begin to have a rethink and recourse. I believe that most of them, majority of them, can survive without any allowance, without any remunerations based on their previous antecedents. Some are governors of two-term serving governors, some are senators, and some have elected positions that have bettered their lot. But they should also don't forget in a hurry that Nigerians are watching, and I hope they should, of course, address these fundamental issues. I'm also, with due respect of your person and of his Senator Akpabio, the Senate President of the 10th Assembly. I'm also expecting the token. I have not gotten any. Even the email, of course, the message you sent to the email has not gotten to me. And I hope that I will be contacted. Of course, and most of Nigerians, millions of Nigerians will also have opportunity to enjoy for once in this country. Well, let's see. Let me leave you as you watch this episode. Thank you for watching.
Of the leader, and then as soon as Senator Umahi takes his oath of office, we shall rearrange the office of the leadership in order to enable all of us to enjoy our holidays. A token has been sent to our various accounts, by the clerk of the National Assembly. I will not. I withdraw that statement. In order to, in order to allow you to enjoy your holiday, the Senate President has sent prayers to your mailboxes. Has sent prayers to your mailboxes to assist you to go on a safe journey and return. This Senate.
I may want to know what is your reactions and response regarding that statement. And God's will for the people of Nigerians is that Nigerians will move ahead. God's will for the people of Nigerians is that justice will be served. God's will for the people of Nigeria is that the downtrodden and the oppressed will be delivered, and that could not come true except there is deliberate decision and decisiveness on the part of those who represent the people by way of governance. And you happen to be the first time we are having God's will. Of course, in the aim of affairs of the Senate President, I will crave your indulgence and with use your good office to serve the masses of this country. While you proceed on the section or the sex, of course, remember that Nigerians are in deep reception, economic reception. Nigerians are suffering. Nigerians are dying. On the streets of Lagos yesterday, I saw a woman with her child, desperate for survival. And I watched past her, and I have to come back because of the states of this woman, and have to squeeze the token, a meager token that I doubt could even take care of the meal for the child and the mother. But I was moved by the pains of that little girl, being dragged on the streets of Lagos begging for foods. I handed the little token I have to the lady, to the girl, an innocent girl who is not responsible for the misgovernance, who is not responsible for the atrocity, who is not responsible for the insensitivity of those who governs, who preside over the affairs, the policies, the decision making of this country called Nigeria. How would a young girl of her nature be subjected to such unimaginable cruel? This is just one out of millions, if not tens of millions of Nigerians who are suffering on the street, who has no person and no place to go, no person to give them succor. And we have a country, we have a government who is only concerned in their own welfare, who is only concerned in what comes to them, a token that goes to their accounts. What happens to Nigerians who has no place, who do not even know where the next meal comes, not just in a day, but weeks running? Well, this message I hope we get to the honorable Senate members in the various, of course, constituencies. We look out on how to assist people. People are dying. People are dying. People are dying. I call out, of course, to the Senate member representing my constituency to also look into what is happening. Honestly, we are suffering. I heard from Olo Senatorial District. Please look out for how to assist people over this particular constituency. And of course, everyone, when we begin to look downwards, we'll begin to see and have some empathy. than living at the largesse of our office at the expense of the masses. I'm not scolding the honorable members. I'm not in any way, of course, ordering you to do contrary to your your will, but it's a mere suggestion that we should understand the pains, the agonies, the frustrations, and the desperate quests for survival within an average Nigerians on the streets, not just of Lagos, but across the nations of the earth. It is across the nations or the states of Nigeria. It is quite unfortunate, it is quite ridiculous, and things are getting out of hand. A common man could no longer afford a staple food you called rice, could no longer afford a loaf of bread for survival, not just the poor, even those most of which are in different nano businesses are folding up. Companies, multinationals are leaving the shores of Nigeria, and our honorable senators, 10th National Assembly, are going on recess without any recourse to the plight of the masses, without addressing the fundamental issues. Why are these people leaving the source of Nigerians? Resulting to Nigerians, most of Nigerians, millions of Nigerians losing their jobs and their source of livelihood. And here comes a token for the honorable members who, even until Jesus come, until the end of the world, can't live without the support or without the allowances or remuneration coming to them by virtue of the positions they occupy currently. Well, I leave it that to you to decide, but the attention and the intent is to call the attentions of the honorable members that while they embark on recess, that the Nigerians are still wallowing in the same abject poverty, and there are issues that have not been resolved, bordering on the welfare, the existence, and the continuity of the Nigerians, the survival of a country. A country is at this point of extinction when the survival of her citizens is being threatened. And that is quite the state and the positions where Nigerians are at this moment. So don't live in denial. Don't think you are not aware that we are sitting on a time bomb. A hungry man, they said, is an angry man. And when a man is angry to the point of depression, he might consider otherwise taking his life or constituting some nuisance within the society might become the only option left for him. I pray that Nigerians out there will take solace in the understanding and the knowledge that God is in total control. But those who are saddled with the responsibility of leadership will do the needful before it is too late. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this moment with Chigozie Ndibo here in Cowave TV. Please don't just watch this program without hitting the subscription button. This is the only way you can support us. Share and like the videos. Let it go viral. Let it get to these honorable members who are proceeding on research to understand that the problems to which they are called to represent the people has not been addressed, have not been solved. And while they are on research, enjoying themselves with the tokens have been sent, as of course affirmed by the Honorable Senate President, they should also understand that Nigerians are in pain. Empty stomach, without any recourse